YouTube. I'm happy to be talking to you guys after so long. I have a couple videos to post today, but the first one I wanted to do is my labor and delivery story. A lot of you have been anticipating on my report. So, I put up a video when they first told me I needed to go to labor and delivery, that it was time to try and get him out because of low amniotic fluid. So I'm going to try to leave off, or I'm going to try to start where I left off in that video. The last thing I told you all in that video is that they had given me Cervidil. This is the box over here. And it's like a thin vaginal strip that goes in your uterus, and it's supposed to start softening and opening up. So that was the last thing I told you guys, that they had put it in. So here's where the update starts. They took the Cervidil out at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Mind you, I got to labor and delivery at 3 o'clock on Monday. I'm probably repeating some of this, but I'm trying to catch people up. They put the Cervidil in at like 6 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, I started having contractions. They told me at like 7 I couldn't have any more solid foods. So yeah, now jumping to Tuesday at 6 a.m., they took the Cervidil out. And it was harsh. I mean, because you already dealing with them putting their hands in to check you, but then the Cervidil had to be pushed all the way into your cervix, your cervix, yeah, sorry. And now they have to go in and get it out. Now, I really wish I remember this lady's name, because now that I look back on my experience, they know what's uncomfortable and what's not uncomfortable. And I never forget, at 6 o'clock that morning, she came in, and I'm thinking she's just gonna pull it out. She just yanked it out, and I cried so bad, you all. And right after then, I knew with the Cervidil supposed to be opening me up, I knew they was gonna have to check me. But I'm thinking she gonna take it out, let me rest. She yanked it out and just went in to check. And I mean, I just cried. I mean, it hurt so bad. I really did. So I was only, the Cervidil hadn't did anything. So there you go. At that point, they have the option of putting another one in to wait another 12 hours. But they're like, okay, Miss Hicks, we do have this balloon that we can insert in your cervix and blow it up with water, and it'll start opening you up. And I'm already like, that don't really sound comfortable. But at this point, even though they're giving me time to make decisions, they're just letting me know, with that low fluid in there, we just can't wait to get him out. Okay. So, at 9 a.m., they inserted the balloon. And, oh my God. I'm telling you guys, my face was wet with tears. By that time, my doula was there, my husband was there. I'm like getting teary. I probably cried throughout the whole video. So just, just be aware of that. So, they were there for me, but I just can't really stress in words how painful it was for them to insert that balloon. After then, I did have contractions. The contractions did pick up. So at that point, all the comfort measures and everything that my doula has been going through with my husband and I, that was the time for me to put that in effect, and I did. So with the help of my mom, my doula, my husband, My daughter had came up there from 9 a.m. putting the balloon in. I lasted all the way to 4:15 when they took the balloon out. Now, mind you, the balloon made my contractions pick up because it's opening, it's like opening up your cervix. And at this point, I was cool. I was in pain, but, they had only did the cervidil. They had only put the balloon in. They hadn't, I'd already told the anesthesiologist I didn't want no medicine. They hadn't said nothing about no Pitocin, breaking water bag, nothing. So at this point, I'm going through this pain, breathing, doing acupressure and just praying that this balloon is doing everything that it needs to do. Because at this point, even though I was in pain, everything that I didn't want had not come into play yet. They took the balloon out at 4:15, but mind you, my contractions stopped at 2. So it's like the whole time, whatever they was doing for me, my body was cooperating, but was shut down at a certain point. So after they took the balloon out, I was 5 centimeters dilated. So I was like, woo, from 1 centimeter to 5. I was like 75% to 80% effaced. And I was able to get a nap at that point. Needless to say, after that, it was time for them to introduce the Pitocin conversation to me. I knew it was coming. Since I didn't want Pitocin, I told them that I wasn't ready to decide. So this was maybe like, they took the balloon out at 4:15. I think they came and started trying to talk to me about the Pitocin at maybe like 6. So I napped from maybe like 4:30 to 6. And I asked them, could they give me until 7:30 to like walk around the hospital, bounce on my ball, to do some things to get my body to do, the rest of it on my own. They agreed. But they was like, we've talked to your doctor. We've told her everything we've been doing. And she's already let us know that at 7:30, it's just time to do the next step. Walked around, bounced on the ball. Cervix, doing nothing. So, it's still Tuesday. They came at like 8 o'clock. I told them, if Pitocin is what I need, then let's go ahead and do this. So at 8 o'clock, they hooked up the IV for the Pitocin. They start at 2 cc drip or whatever that is, and it increases every 30 minutes. So she started at the 2 cc's. I didn't start feeling the hell of Pitocin until she got to 14. Once the nurse got to like 10, she's like, I'm surprised you're not feeling anything. So instead of going like 10, 12, 14, that's when she went from 10 straight to 14. And that's when the pain picked up really bad. And at that point, I could say that the pain was only like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like 3, 3.5. So that was at 8 o'clock. At 11:43, they checked me, and I went from 5 to 5.5, which was not that much of an improvement, but that's all my body had did. They told me they could feel that the baby's head was down there, but the nurse did mention to me at that point, since your body hasn't really done anything else, the next thing that the doctor is going to want to talk to you about is breaking your water bag. And when they break your water bag, they leave you on the Pitocin. So if your water bag is broke, you're already going to have contractions. But now you have those contractions in addition to the contractions that Pitocin is doing. So I was really exhausted by this point. By the time they came in to talk to me about breaking my water bag, I was already at 20 cc's for the Pitocin. And, I mean, everybody in the hospital was shocked. It's like my body wasn't doing nothing. The Pitocin wasn't making it do what it needed to do. I mean, I was sleeping on and off. So that was that night. Now this is Wednesday. Mind you, I had went through pain Monday and Tuesday just with my doula and my husband and my family. I hadn't asked for anything. But now here's Wednesday at 5:34 in the morning. They came in and broke my water bag. I remember when they broke my water bag, nothing really came out. And I had to say, that was my deciding factor from there on out for them to just do whatever they needed to do to get my son here. Because, you know, when you break your water bag, whether it's a gush or a trickle, you see some liquid. And they had told me, you know, your baby doesn't have any fluid in there. And I remember when they broke my water bag, I didn't see nothing. So, contractions did start right away. At that point, I got to 6 centimeters dilated, 75% effaced, and from there on out, with the Pitocin dripping and them breaking my water bag, contractions was what people are afraid of. Let me put it that way. I mean, I don't think I've prayed so much. I was calling on Jesus. I didn't care who saw me naked. I was banging on stuff. I was just really trying to get through. So, after then, it was just time to ask for epidural. I went through the pain so long, and I could feel my baby bearing down, trying to get out. But with my cervix not cooperating, I mean, it just felt like, picture trying to just push a big old rock through a little tiny hole, and I could just feel that that's what my body was doing. And I was so strong. Everybody in my family said it. Everybody in the hospital said it. But at a certain point, I looked at my husband, I looked at my doula, and I was like, I can't do this no more. You know, please let them know that I want the epidural. So that was at 8 o'clock. At 8:15, the team came in. They had my family leave out, and they just gave me the epidural. I mean, the process was very effective. It was quick. By the time they brought my family back in, I was a different person. I was smiling. I was cool. The side effect of epidural is very bad itching. I mean, I have like webs and stuff on my body from where I just kept scratching. They gave me something for the itching twice, and it didn't do anything. At this point, I was still having contractions, but of course, the contractions wasn't strong enough because they weren't doing anything. My cervix stayed at 6, dilated. It never went anywhere else. So the epidural was at 8. By the time 3 o'clock came around, Ms. Hicks, it's time. Can't keep leaving the baby in there. Even though they were telling me that, you know, the monitors are saying that you're fine, there's no high blood pressure, your baby's doing great. It's time. So, at 3 o'clock, they had the C-section conversation with us, and they went on ahead and prepped me. I was in the room for the C-section at 3:30, and at 4:07, my son was born. I couldn't feel anything. I just heard his cry. That's how I knew he was here. He was 6 pounds, 3.5 ounces. And that was just it. I mean, I want to say if I knew the epidural and the C-section and all that was going to be so effective and quick, I would have just did it on Monday. But I mean, you all have to believe me. I really wanted to do this natural. I wanted to get through the pain. So I was in labor for 3 days, and everything I said I didn't want, I end up having to do. But I'm just happy that my labor was still blessed and that my son is here and he's healthy. After the C-section, they took me to recovery. At that point, my husband and I started getting kind of pissed off. They had me down there too long. I understood my stay at first because they have to monitor you after a C-section, and I did have a fever. But I mean, we got down to, he was born at 4:07. I got to recovery at 5. I didn't get to my room till 9 o'clock at night. So the recovery process was retarded. After that was Wednesday. Went in on Monday, had him Wednesday. They didn't let me come home till Saturday. The nights were crazy because here I am trying to stay with my meds because, they've just cut me. With me having a C-section, my milk didn't come in right away, so I was trying my best to feed him. They did suggest to me at some point that, you should cup feed him some formula. We know you don't want a bottle feed right now because it's just your aim to breastfeed only, but they were just telling me that, your baby's hungry. He was really crying and cranky, and I knew he needed something to eat. So by the time we left the hospital, I was still latching him on, but also cup feeding him formula. But yeah, that's really the end of the labor and delivery story. I hated being in the hospital that long. I was in pain, uncomfortable, couldn't sleep. I hated all them tubes in my arms. But my baby's here. I'm doing fine. And I'm happy that it's over. I still would like a daughter at some point. Keep telling my family I'm going to adopt from Cambodia because I just don't know if I could do this again. I mean, they say once you see your child's face, you forget everything. No. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm happy and, but I haven't forget how all that felt. Maybe once my body gets back down and, we're outside chilling in the summertime and I'm getting, maybe I'll be like, oh, want to get pregnant again. But right now, I haven't forgot anything at all. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this video because I am going to do a 1-week video for him and a 1-week video for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I wasn't too cryy or whatever, but the whole process is very emotional. I love you guys and stay tuned. Bye.